I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not making any money. You're not making money. Let me ask you this. Is it our fault or your fault? It's my fault. Would you like to change? If you can follow that pattern. I want to quit. I'm making not money. Let me ask you this. Is it your fault? Is it our fault? And if they say it's your fault, then I say, why? I've got hooked on Andy Andrews, a lot of it. Listen to his audio. One I've listened to over and over again, and somebody was just telling me about another one I should listen to. The one I'm listening to is called Just Jones for the second time, but somebody was telling me The Traveler's Gift was phenomenal. So I'm gonna get through this one, and then I'm gonna for the second time because I like it. But he's here's what Andrews is teaching you a lot, and through Jones, not Mr. Jones, just Jones, is the emotional thing of keeping the emotional thing out of it, and how not to let everything, different things affect you. And Jones was talking to this young lady, and he said, if who's got it when I've got the 10 Commandments, Adam? If Moses had a little more time, he'd got 11. Not 10. But it was something, I don't know, the deal on it was, I don't know if it's rushed or whatever, but he come with only 10. He said, had he come back with 11, number 11 without a shadow of a doubt would have been, do not trick yourself. Don't fool yourself. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be honest. Something like that. No, true. To thine own self be true. But Jones said that if Moses had a little bit more time, he'd have brought down number 11, which said, don't trick yourself. So you're up there being judged. What do you believe? Did you trick yourself into thinking that you're doing it? Because they getting ready to decide, but what do you think? Are you selling yourself? All right, so people hit me with this, I don't need hype, and I don't need the rah-rah, and I don't need the emotional stuff. I need facts and figures. And then you're going like, how are you so dumb that you don't know that you're an emotional creature? Like, that's an emotional statement that you need only the black and white. That's an emotional decision. You say, why you say that? Because if you've not been to our event and see the effect it has on you, then you're just making an emotional decision, you're not running an A/B test, you're not doing an engineering test, you're just guessing that it don't help you. So you're, in effect, making an emotional decision, telling me you don't need emotion. And the other thing is, when all the experts say that it's a mind game and it's an emotional game, who are you to make that statement? So here's the problem. If the person you're talking about is reading fantasy novels and watching romance and they have no grounding in real books, you know, if they're not reading the Bible and they're not reading Think and Grow Rich, they're not reading As a Man Thinketh, they're not reading Andy Andrews' books, they don't have a basis to make decisions. So that's why early on, when I will not work with a person that's not reading or coming to conventions. I'll be crazy nice. I mean, I've had people, you know, I'll go to a meeting and I'll just be hugging somebody and just high-fiving them and tell them how much I miss them and everything. And then people go like, how do you do that? And I go, what? How do I do what? How are you so nice to a person that's not doing anything? What do you want me to do? Waste my emotion on, like, I'm not wasting my time. But isn't it emotional to hug and happy? And yet, no, not really. There's zero thinking involved in that. How you doing? How's your mama? Good to see you. There's no thinking about that. There's no observation involved. Versus somebody that I care about, I'm watching the way they stand. I'm changing the way they put their hands. I'm messing with their facial stuff. I'm talking about commonalities and how to stay low and how to make decisions. Why you want to get in with somebody that's not going to do it? It's a waste of emotions. All right, so when I'm talking to a person, all right, what are you reading? What do you listen to? You come to the convention. And I'm trying nicely not to say you're out of my life. I'm not coaching you if you don't come to anything. But it is inferred, okay? So it's just, I am not going to take my time away from my wife and my kids and beat my head against a wall with somebody that don't want to do it. And I'm doing all that training, and they can't reinforce it with books and audios. Why would I do that? And why would you not teach that to people? Well, here's what I get a lot. I'm just trying to get them making money so they won't quit. I go, that has nothing to do with them quitting. I don't know how to break it to you. I've never had somebody like I'm not making any money, so I'm quitting. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not making any money. You're not making money. Let me ask you this. Is it our fault or your fault? It's my fault. Would you like to change? If you can follow that pattern. I want to quit. I'm making no money. Let me ask you this. Is it your fault? Is it our fault? And if they say it's your fault, then I say, why? And it's just, it's not, people say, what if it just gets, it don't get ugly. It don't get ugly. And people say, like, the leads are too expensive. I go, guys, listen, I've got Brian Rojas buying those leads and Michelle doing it. You want to talk to her? Well, she's going to say what everybody says. What? Like, it's not going to get bad. And if they say it's my fault, then the question is, do you want to change? Well, the first thing we got to do is we've got to start doing what other rich people do, which is hang around smart people and quit hanging around dum-dums. Who's the dumbest, brokest, poorest person that has a negative attitude that you hang around with the most? Like, are you trying to get personal? Yeah, I'm trying to get personal. Who is it? Reduce the amount of time you're spending with that person. Because what's happening is I'm trying to move you over here, and they're trying to move you over here. You ever heard of that? Like, I can't talk to you no more. I feel like I'm getting dumber every minute. Don't say that to them, but but in your mind, you got to be thinking, I think I'm getting dumber. Because that stuff will rub off. It'll come off on you. All right, so here's some facts. And this is a fun thing when I'm talking to young people or new people is how many hours in a week? And you get the craziest looks on their face. And so my leaders are like, would you please educate your new people on how many hours there are in a week? Because it's no kidding. It's like they've never heard it before. You go, why is that important? Because people don't realize there's 168. Sometimes I'd be like, multiply 7 times 24. And boy, that really messes them up. I go, you can use your phone. And then you start doing the math on getting convicted of working, and you ask them, what are they doing with their time? So you're educating the hell out of people on the low stuff. Like there's 168 hours in a week. How about this? Before you find out that they're making 14 phone calls a week, before they do that, you tell them that we have done studies. And we have, matter of fact, you could do this study yourself. Here's the way it works. You get a stack of leads in front of you, and you hit the button on your timer on your phone, and you start making phone calls, and you mark how many phone calls. A typical number of phone calls in an hour is what? 35 to 45. That's an hour. So if a person works 14 dials, they've worked 15 minutes that week. That week. But if you tell them that after they're doing it for 4 weeks, you're the dum-dum, not them. Well, I shouldn't have to tell people to go to the bathroom. You don't have to tell them to go to the bathroom, but you got to tell them how many hours in a week. You have to tell them how many dials is in an hour. You're going to make easy 35 to 45 phone calls per hour. If you work 8 hours, that's 8 times 40. 8, 8, 16, 16, 16, 32. And you with me? Facts. And now they're not going to do the same whining to you if you educate them. So they're on a jury. We explain to the jury. We question you if you know how many hours in a week, if you don't know that. And then how many dials are you making? How many people did you meet this week? How many people did you talk to about the business? Just keep it, like we're going to put these people, we're either going to put them in jail, we're going to set them free. We're going to put you in jail, you set you free. If you can't prove to us that you actually own a business. All right. Let's say, are you in business? Are you lazy? Or are you scared of money? Because in this business, if you work, you're going to make money. So are you scared of the money or scared of the work? And here's what I get. I'm scared that it won't work. Like, it is not the problem. I'm scared it won't work. How about be scared you won't work? Like, it works, you work. Like, this Circle of You book, it wouldn't hurt you to reread it or at least re-highlight it when you're talking to your people and try to get them to understand. I'm talking to quite a few people in this convention center that I'm really having to come back to that Circle of You thing to where you matter. Like, not what everybody else is doing. And you don't get upset when they don't like sales. They don't like talking to people. They don't like leaving their house. They don't like commission only. But they just don't understand. I go, no, they don't understand. So the other thing you can do is keep it real small. So when I'm talking to people that make a lot of money or they're happy with their job, all I'm asking them to do is just check it out, see if it makes sense. Maybe for themselves. In other words, maybe they educate themselves on their finances or estate planning or life insurance or stock market. They can learn a lot by just doing this on the side. Like you read a book on taxes, or you read a book on AI, or you read a book on how to do Excel spreadsheet. Just take a couple classes on finance and how insurance and investments work. Just keep it real low for them. You go, but what I want them to do is get in and hire 20 people and write $30,000 a month. I know that. I've been around. I know what you want. I want the same thing. But we start with what we can get. If we can just get them in the door, if we get them signed up for class, if we can get them come to a meeting. So we're just trying to keep it real, real low. But you're finding people as opposed to making people. That's why I call it interviewing, not recruiting. I think I can recruit anybody I want to, but I don't want to recruit somebody that don't like me and don't want to get rich and don't want freedom and don't want to travel the world. I don't want to work with that person. So I'm interviewing, asking questions, and a lot of times they're not direct questions. I'm just listening to the way they respond, and I'm listening if they are making excuses for everything in their life, or are they taking responsibility. So I'm just listening, trying to decide how much I like them or want to work with them or not. But you got to understand, I've got 20 more to talk to. It's not like, if you're in a restaurant, my favorite things to do, kind of crazy, but if I'm talking to a waitress, there's two of them standing by, and I ask one of them, and they say no, I just get so excited. How about you? How about you? Because it is funny because this person just lost the opportunity, and this person got it. And you think, what's the worst case that can happen? They look like me either. Neither one of us are going to do it. I'm like, okay. Like I don't care. I was doing what I do, not worried about what they do. I worry about inside the circle of me, inside the circle of you. What am I going to do? What do I get? And I know you've been taught so long not to be greedy and not to want anything for your life and not to have anything. And then I'm sitting you going like, how does it affect you? So you're in a restaurant. You're in a restaurant and there's sharp young people in that restaurant, 15 of them, 20 of them. And you're sitting here calling these lists of agents and you're so frustrated and so mad and you're spending money. You are doing the right thing. Then when you complain to me about it, you're doing the wrong thing because I can't make this list into a good list. And I'm going to flip it on you sure as shitting. You know what I mean? I'm going to flip it on you. Why would you go in a restaurant with 15 good-looking, sharp, ambitious people that can afford to eat there and you don't go meet some of them? And you get everything like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to interrupt their eating. It's like, oh my God, interrupt them. Make them mad. Just, what do you care? It's the circle of you, not the circle of them. Your job is to go meet them. Your job is to throw out the opportunity. That's your job. Your job is not to tell me what they think and tell me why they didn't do it. And by the way, your job is not go tell me how excited they are and you ain't gonna believe it. I talked to this waitress, she's gonna do it and she's here. Okay. Like, I thought that was our job. No, your job is to do that. You did your job. So if they don't do it, you did your job. If they do it, you did your job. How many times are you gonna do your job? If I can get through to you, you're gonna get convicted of owning own business. Okay, so another big deal. Another big deal. I understand, and Fitz will know a guy, because I think about him when I do this. I need for you to do something that's real easy, anybody can do. But I need for you to not be emotional and not be a scaredy cat and not be offended. And I need for you to follow these instructions. Now, if you're in a boot camp, if you're in the Army and they go, this is the rules, then this is the rules. There's no arguing. But you're in a commission-only environment and you're talking to a person who's never been in this kind of business before, so you got to think about it. This is going to take a sales job. So you're going to be very smart the way you do it. So you say, I'm going to tell you something really easy to do. This will kind of tell me how the rest of your career is going to go if you can follow this instruction. I need for you to talk to the sharpest people you know about this business. And I know people, here's the alternative. You give me a list of all your friends and I will call them for you. That's not a terrible method, but it's not as good as if you get them to do it. Because it's zero time if you get them to do it, and you can get 10 people doing it. 10 people doing it, bring you the 2 most awesome people that are ready to get started, as opposed to you talking to all these nimnods that ain't ever gonna do it. So, but remember, you gotta sell them on it, Diane. Spencer, you gotta convince them. Here's the deal. I talked to 27 people and not single one did it. Reevaluate your methods. Don't keep going on and on. Here's okay, so it could be you you're not good at convincing people, or it could be 27 really not good people. I just can't tell if it's you or them. And you need to figure it out. Is it you or them? And if it's you, well, either way, it's great news. Because if you find out it's them, we just got to fish in a different pond. We got to figure out a different way to talk to different people than the 27 you talk to. If it's you, we just need to go talk to somebody that's better at recruiting, better at selling it, and get them to teach you how to do it. And you learn how to do it. So what you do is you keep it real, real low. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do, but I do care what you say, and I do care what you do, and I do care how you react to it. So you're just using this big explanation, and if you, like, I would rather take 30 minutes and get a person to do that than to take 3 hours and call a list of their people. And if you got 4 or 5 people sitting around, I can say, let me show you how this works. I love text dialing. You can do it at night out, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. You can text at 11 o'clock at night. They can reply back next morning, and that's one of the first things you teach them. Well, I don't want to bother anybody at 11:30 at night. Who the hell looks for the, I mean, who the hell's text goes off at 11:30 at night and wakes them up? It's weird. They'll see it the next morning. But if they're awake drinking, they might reply back. If they're up watching television, they might call back. We might talk to them. Give it a shot. Just text them. So if I get 5 or 6 people do this pitch, I guarantee you we'll get people to talk to that are interested and want to know what we got, as opposed to me blind calling. So what I'm doing on each of these things, when you're getting a person to call everybody they know, text every person they know, contact every person they know, what you're doing is you're eliminating work for yourself.